we were able to create a view helper that helps us or help our activity dealing with the view itself, extracting information, setting information in the view. So that's the view helper role. So as we get the name, we also need to get extra information about the new student. If you go back to our application and you go to the form, you will see that we have the name, the address, the phone number, the website, the email, and the grading. We have 6 different fields. So let's create 6 different methods. Yoo-hoo! And then we copy and paste, and the get address methods, and then you just change here from student form name to student form address. And then you go for the student get phone number. And then phone number. And then the phone number will just change from form address to phone number. And it's pretty ugly what I'm doing right now, right? Because first, copy and paste is pretty ugly. Second, copy and paste helps you forget to change name of specific things that you are copying and paste. Can you see what I did here? Can you see? It's here. Name field equals student form name. Name field equals form address. Name equals form address value. Name field equals form number field. Name equals phone numbers value. Doesn't make sense. This copy and paste is pretty messed up. So be careful with copy and paste, first of all. So instead of doing something like that, we can extract this information. Instead of every time having to say, please find view by ID, this little field for me, and extract this text information for me, please, instead of doing that, I'll just say that the resource that I want, the field that I want to extract the information is this field here. The ID form name is the RID student form name. That's the field that I want to extract the information. So if you want the name, I'll just say return get field, get text field value, just specific, just generic, but I'm talking about a text field. So get text field value for this field here. That's what I'm saying. And this method here, if I hit Alt return, please create this method for me, it receives the field ID here. That's the field ID. And what it does is, I'll just paste the code here and see what happens. So I'll just find by view ID this field ID that you've asked me to. This is the field itself, right? So this is the field. So I'll get the text, and that's the value of the field. And I'll return to you the value. It doesn't matter to me which field you are trying to extract the information. If you ask me, get text field value for this field, I'll return to you. And that's it, I'm happy with it. So that's the get text field value method. And it's private because I don't expect people from outside my view helper to know the IDs that are related to this view helper. I, the view helper, know those IDs. If they change, there is only one point you need to change, the view helper. They don't know because they invoke the getName method. I know because I work with the IDs of my layout, the internal IDs of my layout. So whenever the internal IDs of my layout change, the view helper related to that layout will have to change, but not other places because he's the only one who knows those internal IDs. The view helper is the only one. So it helps me focusing its responsibility here. It has one responsibility, which is dealing with the layout internal content. And it's here. So the getName method is this one. So the getAddress, much easier now. The getAddress method is just return the getText field name for the RID student address. And that's it. And the phone number. The phone number is also easy. It's just return the getText field value for the phone number. Where's the phone number? Here's the phone number. And I'm happy with it. So this one also could be just one line. Just one line. In this case, I'll just write one line. Usually I avoid one-liners because we are teaching here, so we want to write good code and not write long code, which might be easy to read, but might not be easy to read. I want to write code that you are able to read and everyone else is able to read. Not code that maybe some people are able to read, maybe not. So let's go for good code here. So in our case, I want to be as clear as possible. So I'll try to avoid one-liners. But in this case, it's pretty straightforward. It's just get text field value for the student form name. get text field value for the student form address, get text field value for the student form phone number. So I can write all 5 methods like this. But it's going to be pretty ugly in my form activity to have to ask for the helper get name. So I want the name, string name equals helper get name. Then you want the phone number. Oh, phone number equals helper get phone number. Do you want the address? String address equals helper get address. And then you keep asking for several information. Doesn't really make much sense. If you have 20 fields, you have to invoke it 20 times here and play with those 20 fields in different 20 variables. That's something painful. It is painful, so we won't do this. Instead of representing a student with 20 different fields that I have no control of, I have this field and that other one. Did I forget this one? Do I have that one? Do I have this one? Did I forget about that other one? So instead of having 20 different fields, in our case 6 different fields, I'll have one student. One student for me, please. So that's what I'm going to ask. Please, helper. Please, instead of asking you, what is the name? What is the address? What is the name? What is the address? What is the phone number? What is the site? What is the email? What is the grading? No, instead of asking you, I'll tell you, please create a student and give me back this student. That's what I'm telling you to do. So I'm not asking, I'm telling you something. So please create a student. So I'll create a student, and that will give back to me a student. So let's create that. Well, first of all, I need to create the student class. So out return, create class student. I'll keep in the same package so far, and the student will have, which fields does it have again? It has the name, the address, email, phone number, and website, and grading. Those are all the fields that we need, right? Okay, so those are the fields that we are going to add pretty soon here. First, I have my student here, so I'll close it. Create a student. So I'll ask the helper, please create a student for me. Create methods, create a student. Okay, so this is the method. So what I'm going to do here is just return a new student. And what is the student's content? The content is the name, the address, the phone number, the what else? The email and the website and the grading. Yes, and the grading. The grading we'll do less because it's different from those that we did. So first of all, I'll ask for the name. Okay, get name. I have the name here. So the second one is the address. Get address. The third one is the get phone number. Phone number. The fourth one is the get email or website. I don't remember the order. I'll just stick to the same order. Website. So get website. And then the last one is the get email. Then we have the sixth one, which is the grading that I'll show pretty soon. Just finish all the text fields first. So get website doesn't exist. Let's create a get website. So it's a getter. No, it returns a string, get website, and the content is return get text field value, RID, student website. Here we have the website. Yes, good. Help me with the get email. So auto return, create getter, it returns a string, which is get text field value, RID, student email. There we have all the methods. And we are invoking this constructor here with 5 different parameters. This constructor just doesn't exist. So we have to create the constructor. Again, I hit Alt return, create the constructor. First one is name, second one is address, third one phone number, fourth one website, fifth one email. So if I go back to all those guys, I can hit Alt return. I'll just ask first, sorry. I'll just hit Alt return here, and I'll say bind constructor parameters to fields. All constructor parameters to several different fields. So just hit this one and ask, which ones do you want to create, Guilherme? I want to create all of them. So it creates all of them, and it's already final by default. So I have all those guys here. I'll just clean the empty space that I don't need. So whenever you ask me to create a student, I'll create a student for you with all the information that you need, and I'll give it back to you. So now, it's a song name or something like that, isn't it? So now I'll just ask student, what is your name? So I just need to create the getter, the get methods. So I'll just create the get methods here, the get name methods. And you say, okay, Guilherme, now create get address, get phone number, get website, get email, set name, set address, set phone number. No, I'm not going to create the methods that I don't need. I'm creating just the methods that I need. I don't want to create useless code. If I don't need the code, I'm not creating that code, okay? So we stick to that rule. Only create what is required to implement our functionality. I'm not in need of the other getters. I'm not in need of the other setters. I'm not creating them. For example, if I had to create the setter right now, if I were to create the setter, I would have to make it non-final and then risk the chances to have it null. So right now, if you instantiate a student with non-null values, you're pretty sure that all values are non-null because I cannot change them. Of course, if you have the option to change the student's name and student values, you have to remove the final from here. And that's okay. But when we need it, we will do it. If we don't need it, we will not do it. We stick to safer code whenever possible. So I'm sticking to it. If we take a look at the code, it's compiling. I'll close the application. And I'll try to run the build again from scratch. So I'll clean the build just to be sure that everything is clean. And I'll build again from scratch and try to run. So let's go to the application, hit plus, add the information of our name, add some address, some phone number, some website, some email. Add some grading, hit ask, and add my students. And Guilherme was created successfully. So now I'm using an object-oriented approach to my model, which is the student model. It's a simple class, just as in Java, a simple Java class, and I'm trying to stick to good practices from object-oriented programming with Java and avoid creating code and avoid creating variables that have getters and setters like crazy and just creating whenever they are needed. So trying to use some good practices from object orientation. And here also the form view helper is trying to bring this responsibility of dealing with the view and transforming also objects from the view to the model. So it's bringing this single responsibility here to the form view helper. And if you take a look now, all those methods are used, or most of those methods are used only within the student form view helper. The only method that is invoked from outside is the create a student method. All those other methods are only used inside, so I'm going to stick to good practices and I'm going to keep them all private. Private, private, because we are not supposed to invoke them from outside. If someone is supposed to invoke them from outside later and we think it makes sense, if it makes sense, then we'll make it public or package default or protected or whatever we need. But for now, we don't need them. Oh, take a look. When I created the getter for the website, it also created the website variable. Sorry for that. So I removed the website variable that I don't need. So I stick to the activity, which is a final variable. And all methods are private except the public create a student method, which creates the student. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the student. I'll just return the student and you do whatever you want with the student. You can get its name, its address, it's whatever you want. It helps, it works, the code is cleaner, the code that's related to the view is in the view helper. It works, but if I add someone here, for example, if I try to add a new student who is called Rodrigo Turini, and I try to add this student here, where is it? It's not in my list. First of all, it's not in my list. So the list, the array that is here is an array of strings. It's not even an array of students. It's just a plain array of strings. Doesn't make sense. I wanted to make an array of students. First thing. Second thing, when I confirm that I'm adding someone, Turini for example, when I confirm that I'm adding someone, I want this array to reflect this change, to save this guy in this array. Third one, when I close my application and I open the application again, I need to load this information from some place, from some kind of database, and show the new students from there. And right now I'm just creating a new array and it's completely new. It has just the information from before, just the information that is fixed, that is not dynamic. So those are the things that I need to do. And in order to do that, yes, we're going to use a database.